Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to a brand new, exciting Doctor Who topic video for today. So for this Doctor video, I've had to split this into a 4-part series because, one, I was asked recently on Facebook what are the 10 most Doctor Who stories I will watch the most out of classic and modern. So I thought, you know what, this is going to be a good YouTube video, topic video for me to talk about. So I thought, why not do the 10 classic Doctor Who stories, the 10 classic Doctor Who stories I rewatched the most, and then of course part 2 will be the 10 classic Doctor Who stories I rewatched the least, and then I'll be doing the same for modern. So the 10 modern Who stories I rewatched the most, I've called it, and then of course the 10 modern Who stories I rewatched the least. So I think this will be an interesting video topic for me to do. So grab all your sonic screwdrivers, your jelly babies, or, as you all know, be the most fantastic people and humans you are ever going to be. And let me talk about the 10 classic Doctor Who stories I rewatched the most. So, in number 10, so this one, I'm going to be honest, this is my favourite Jon Pertwee story, The Sea Devils. Now, over the years, I cannot tell you how many times I've rewatched the story. This is the Jon Pertwee story I rewatched the most. And when I say that, I mean physically, this is the one I rewatched the most. I just absolutely love The Sea Devils. I think it's an interesting story. It's one I do go back and rewatch a lot for Pertwee. I mean, yes, there are other stories I rewatch for Pertwee, like Spared from Space, Inferno, Terror of the Autons, The Claws of Axos, The Daemons, you know, The Sea Devils, The Three Doctors, The Green Death, just name some of you. But out of all of Jon Pertwee's stories, this is the one I physically go back to watch the most. One, I just think it's a fantastic 6-part story. I mean, I absolutely love it. I love the fact how you've got sea bases and boats becoming attacked by the Sea Devils. You've got some good prison scenes with the Master and the Doctor, especially having that fantastic sword fight when the Doctor goes, "Please do not do that. You are attacking government property, you know." I just absolutely enjoyed The Sea Devils. It is a fantastic story. My favourite scene from The Sea Devils, I've got to be honest with you, is when they're actually coming out from the ocean, when they're coming out of the seabed, and you just see them raising. I absolutely love that scene as well, where you've got the Doctor and Jo going through these minefields, and you've got a Sea Devil approaching them, and of course the third Doctor picking up the sonic screwdriver, and he's there literally detonating the bombs, like the mines in front of it, and it goes, like that, the screaming, it literally goes back screaming. I just really love The Sea Devils. It is basically the fantastic Jon Pertwee story I have ever watched. And it's the one I do always go back and rewatch the most because I just absolutely love it. Yes, I don't own this on VHS at the moment, but I do own the Target book and, of course, the DVD and Blu-ray. And lately, this is the one I keep going back to rewatch when I'm in the mood for a good Pertwee story. Number 9. So, the 9th Doctor Who story I rewatched the most is, of course, The City of Death, the second story to season 17. I have to be honest, this one I just absolutely flat out love. It is my second favourite Tom Baker story. I mean, I do have my poster of it up now, as you can probably see part of it here. You can see Scaroff there. I just absolutely love the City of Death. One, it's absolutely brilliant. 2, it really messes around with time. I love the fact the Doctor goes to Leonardo da Vinci. And then, of course, he writes, this is a fake on the Mona Lisa. So he paints over this is a fake over the Mona Lisa quite a few times. Tom Baker is very good in the role of the Doctor. Now, this is the point about the 4th Doctor I have to say. I don't actually feel like I'm actually watching Tom Baker playing the Doctor. I actually feel like I'm actually watching the Doctor. Because Tom does play the role of the Doctor really well, and in this 4-part story he absolutely plays it, because the Doctor and Ramona go on holiday in Paris. They end up investigating what's going wrong with time, because you've got Scaroff's machine basically causing time distortions. I absolutely love The City of Death. It's just a brilliant story. Number 8. So in 8th place, I've had to put this in 8th place because, one, it is my second favourite Patrick Troughton story. It is The Seeds of Death. Now, this is the basically third to last story of season 6. And this is the Ice Warriors' second story. And my God, this is absolutely amazing. So the Ice Warriors basically invade the moon base of the T-Mat system. And of course, the only way to get there, they actually send the Doctor, Jamie and Zoe in a space rocket. So they get there and they find that the Ice Warriors took over T-Mat. And my God, it's done so brilliantly. The whole effects I really love the fact when Patrick Troughton is there talking, your leader won't be happy if you kill me. I'm a genius. Genius. I absolutely love that scene where you got Troughton literally running across these like mirror things, and you got more than one Troughton. He's there going like that, and then he runs down the corridor, sees a nice one, he goes, oh, like that, and he runs back. I just really love that scene. I absolutely love the story. It's my second favourite Troughton story. Number 7. So the 7th Doctor Who story I rewatched the most from Classic Who is, of course, the Dalek invasion of Earth. Now, do I really tell you how good the Dalek invasion of Earth is? No, I don't. Because, 1, it is actually a whopping masterpiece. 2, it's absolutely flipping brilliant. 3, it's the first goodbye to a classic companion. And 4, Hartnell delivers that most epic line. One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxiety. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. I just absolutely love that speech. And of course, you have that fantastic shot at the end of episode 1 when you got the Dalek coming out of the Thames. And of course, you got the Doctor and Ian basically being captured by the Robomen. And when Ian goes, when I give the word, return and dive in the water. Now, and they literally just turn around and like, and there's just this Dalek coming out of the Thames. It's just like looking around. I absolutely love it. It's absolutely brilliant. And I love the bit at part 6 as well, where you got the Doctor and Barbara basically telling the Robomen to attack the Daleks. And Barbara does that voice going, Robomen, this is your masters. Like that. I just really love that scene. And when you got the first Doctor going, attack the Daleks, attack the Daleks. I just really love that. It's done so well, brilliantly. Absolutely so well. So, number 6. The most rewatched classic Doctor Who story I have watched in 6th place is Vengeance on Varos. Now, this is my second favourite Colin Baker story, but I have to be honest with you, I don't really watch my favourite Colin Baker story that much because it is Attack of the Sun, and I just know how good that is. So this is the one I absolutely go back and rewatch the most. I mean, thanks to season 22, we got the extended version on Blu-ray. I absolutely love watching both of these versions. They're just absolutely brilliant. I really love the way how the Doctor needs Artron. I can't remember what it's called. What's it called? It's gone from my head. Anyway, he needs this kind of energy power source to power up the TARDIS, and of course he ends up going to Varos, and it's basically a prison torture planet where basically it's a bit like Big Brother, but far more sinister, more people being tortured. There's an acid bath scene where basically about to throw the Doctor into an acid bath, and he wakes up and he literally taps the one guy and he goes like that. I had the most peculiar drip, and he's and I love that bit when he picks up the bed and he literally pushes him in. That's absolutely brilliant. Also, I love Syl. Syl is an absolutely interesting villain. And I love the way how Syl is in this story. It's absolutely brilliant. Colin Baker gives us a fantastic performance as the 6th Doctor. And if you watch the extended version, I love the fact that we have more of the TARDIS scenes with Nicola Bryant and Colin Baker. And they are just absolutely arguing at each other when she basically talks to the Doctor about the TARDIS basically changing shapes from a police box. And when the Doctor says, I think I have kind of fixed it, what would it be? A police box? I also love the fact when she tells him, saying, we have materialised as Nelson Column or a pyramid. And he goes, we have never materialised as Nelson's Column. My God, that extended version just really extends that scene so well and so brilliantly. Number 5. So the 5th Doctor Who story I rewatched the most on Classic Who is, of course, The 5 Doctors. Now, this is a fantastic story. I mean, you got the 1st, 2nd and 3rd Doctors being pulled out of time. You got the 5th Doctor basically being rivered away. The 4th Doctor ends up being trapped in the time vortex with Romana. And of course, he ends up having captured Brigadier, Susan, Sarah Jane. And the Doctor's got his companions like Tegan and Talo. And I just absolutely love that because the 1st Doctor and Susan end up coming across a Dalek. The 2nd Doctor and the Brig basically a Cyberman. Then later on in the story, they'll come across a Yeti. Then, of course, they also come across phantoms of Jamie and Zoe. The 3rd Doctor comes across the Cyberman for the very first time. Yes, we actually have the Cyberman and the 3rd Doctor in a classic Doctor Who story. It's a shame it's not in his era, but it's still pretty much the same. yeah, we kind of got there after 1974 when he regenerates, and we basically have to wait till 1983 to see the third Doctor come across the Cybermen. Again, I absolutely flipping love how good this story is, because you got an Astron robot. The fourth Doctor, as I say, is trapped, but that's just basically scenes from Shada, because the fourth Doctor actor, aka Tom Baker, refused to go back to film for the five Doctors because he only left the role 2 years prior. I just really love that, because when you got the fifth Doctor and the Master as well, I mean, the villains you have in here, you got Barusala, who is basically the man who basically pulls them all out of time by using the time scoop only because he wants the power from Rassilon. You've got the Master, you've got Cybermen, there's only one Dalek, you've got a Yeti, and it really does feel like a celebration of 20 years of Doctor Who. It really is. And I just absolutely love Richard Handler's performance as the first Doctor, where you kind of got them talking, saying, "Who are you?" "As it happens, I am the Doctor." "The original," you might say. You shouldn't be here at the same time with him. So, like, it only happens at the greatest emergencies, like particularly like now. I really love the five Doctors. It's just an absolutely brilliant story. Number 4. So, in 4th place, now this is my all-time favourite Patrick Troughton story. The Invasion. Yes, I absolutely love The Invasion. I know episodes 1 and 4 are basically missing, but it was animated back in 2006. Does the animation look dated? No, not at all. I actually think the animation looks absolutely perfect. When they're probably upscale it in HD, I can guarantee they'll probably want to reanimate it for episodes 1 and 4. Like, give it the update 2023 animation or 2024 animation whenever it comes out. But The Invasion, it is a brilliant story. I love the fact we have the cyber player talking to Tiberius Form, and he's there basically talking to it, making the plan. I love the fact in episode 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8, it's just basically the end of part 4 is when you see the Cybermen coming out of the sewers and everybody in London is basically falling asleep, and you just got the Cybermen coming down of St. Cathedral. Fantastic scenes, honestly. And I love the fact when you got the second Doctor and Thorne basically working together to try and deactivate the Cybermen, and they come out of that doorway and they literally start shooting and they kill Thorne, but the second Doctor's there, he's like that, and then he ends up running going, "Oh, ho, ho, oh, ho, ho," like that, because they're shooting. He just keeps jumping in the air. I just absolutely love that story. The Invasion, best Troughton story for me. Number 3. So now we are in number 3, and it is Genesis of the Daleks. This is the best Tom Baker story I can ever say. This is the one I really rewatched the most for Tom Baker. So the Doctor, Sarah, and Harry are all pulled out from, basically because they're travelling through the Transmat Beacon to go back to Nether Beacon, so they can basically reunite with the TARDIS. But the Time Lords end up interfering and basically take the Doctor to a point before the Daleks were ever created, because they actually want the Doctor to stop the Daleks from being created. And my God, this is an incredible 6-part story. It introduces us to Davros, played by Michael Wisher, of course. It just introduces us into so many iconic episodes. I really love the fact we have that scene where you kind of got Sarah Jane leading the Mutos and the Carlas basically just climb up the rocket and they start shooting. And when you think Sarah Jane dies, because you've got that cliffhanger where she's there screaming and she just frees it, and it just frees where she's actually like falling. And that's the cliffhanger. I would hate to have to wait a week to see if Sarah Jane actually does die. But luckily, she doesn't. Genesis of the Daleks, I just absolutely love it because, one, we have that fantastic line where the fourth Doctor talks, "Do I have the right to touch these two wives together? And the Daleks are finished." And he's, I really love that when Sarah Jane's trying to talk to him. "You must complete your mission for the Time Lords." "Oh, I do. But there are many worlds up there that become allies because of the Daleks. Because they're terrorized and adventure." I really love that line. And of course, when you got that bloke coming up to the Doctor, and the Doctor goes, "You have no right. You have no idea how close I was to destroy the Daleks." And he literally stops it, and you got Davros talking, and then of course you got the Daleks exterminating Davros. And you got that Dalek say, literally talking, "We have not been defeated. When the time is right, we will take our rightful place as the supreme power of the universe." I just honestly just love Genesis of the Daleks. Flat out amazing story. Number 2. So, the second ever story I rewatched the most of Doctor Who in classic era is right behind me. It is The Caves of Androzani. Now, I have a problem with the Davidson era because there are 2 stories that I think that deserve to be number 1, which is of course the 5 Doctors and of course the Caves of Androzani. I just cannot decide which one's so much good because I just love the 2 stories together. They're absolutely brilliant. But I have already said the 5 Doctors in number 5, so number 2, it is actually the case of Androsani because 1, Peter Davison gets the epic most regeneration story ever to come out of classic Doctor Who. Now, this is literally going towards like the 10th Planet, the War Games, Planet of the Spiders, the Gopolis, and of course the Tamanarani and the TV movie. This is the best classic Doctor Who regeneration. Why? Because the 5th Doctor and Perry end up becoming poisoned by the spectrotoxemia. The only cure is bat's milk, which the Doctor does basically get the cure. And he sacrifices his own life to save Perry because he gives Perry the cure. And he thinks he's going to die. And in fact, he just regenerates into Colin Baker. And you've got Colin Baker sitting up saying... And you've got Perry talking, Doctor, you're expecting someone else? That's 3 eyes and 1 breath. Rather to stick with you, young lady. Change, my dear. And it seems not a moment too soon. But my favourite cliffhanger has got to be to the one in part 3. When you kind of got the Doctor hijacking Jack's like spaceship and he's got there, Studsy, you had a good rest. And I love the way Harry's there talking and you literally think he's going to crash land the spaceship onto Andrew Sanamona. I really love the way how the camera really pals onto Peter Davison's face and he's there going like that. I just really love that. I really love that. I really love that part, and I really love the whole story. It's really great in general. Very, very dark for a Davison story, and it's done so well. Also, it was directed by Greg Harper, who did come back and direct a couple of episodes in the Russell T Davies era, well, phase 1 of the Russell T Davies era. And of course, number 1, the one Doctor Who story I rewatched the most, and this is the one I just absolutely physically enjoy the most. It's the one I think is absolutely brilliant. It is the it is the Curse of Fenwick. I flipping love this story. It is very, very kind of horrific. I love the Heavels design when they come out of the water. I love the way those 2 girls are there swimming and they kind of get attacked by the Heavels and pulled down, and then of course they come back to life and they're talking to the soldier saying, yes, come into the water, join us. And you've got the Heavels attacking him. I really love the fact we have Fenwick when he literally takes over Dr. Johnson's body and he's there talking and Dr. Johnson gets locked off of his wheelchair and he comes up and then the Doctor's just there looking at the side of him and he goes, so, you're here to play the contest again, Time Lord. That is just a brilliant cliffhanger. Absolutely brilliant cliffhanger of this story. Now, I also love the fact when basically the Fenwick basically takes over the Russian soldier that Ace starts to kind of fall for, and basically she finds out that Fenwick's took over, and the Doctor's there screaming Ace because she just gave away the Doctor's secret and on the chessboard. I just absolutely love the way how the 7th Doctor stitches up Ace as well. Where he goes, you think I didn't know? The chess set in Lady Penfold's study. I knew. And he goes, earlier than that, Time Lord. Before Cybermen. Ever since Ice World, when you first met the gun, he goes, I knew. I knew she carried evil inside of her. Do you really think I would choose like a complete utter misfit if I had the chance? I knew. And then I love the way how he goes, killer. I love the way how he literally just manipulates Ace by saying, and he's there literally just talking, and he's just there being so powerful. McCoy is in the role, and he's there literally stitching up Ace, and it's done so brilliantly where he's basically talking. He goes, I know she had evil inside her. I wouldn't waste my time on her unless I had to use her somehow. And the music, the instrumental music, is done so well in that. I love the music when you got the Heavels basically coming to do the invasion thing and they're literally attacking this old Rebel 2 base, and you got the music and you got the syllables like being really, really creepy. The music's done so well. It's one of the reasons why I just absolutely love the story, because the music, the soundtrack to the story, it really gives it that fantastic, horrifying atmosphere. Every time I watch it, it's just done so brilliantly. Yes, we do have 2 versions on Blu-ray. We've got 3 versions of it on Blu-ray, because we've got the original version, we've got a movie version, and then of course we've got the never seen before version that was only released on VHS. I just absolutely love the Curse of Fenwick. I can just do a massive whole video on the Curse of Fenwick because it's just absolutely brilliant. So that is the 10 classic Doctor Who stories I rewatched the most. What are the 10 Doctor Who stories you rewatched the most? Let me know in the comments. Please do like, subscribe and share, and join for more awesome Doctor Who content. And remember, be careful of the herbivores.